right, let me start this up, make sure that it's working. Disable this feature that people like to use in the views. Put that wonderful thumbnail in place. Doing this a little bit earlier than usual. Not that much earlier. It's about like 10 plus minutes. That's about it. Okay, let's see here. Yep, so that's done correctly. Um, I would like to mention that I was very happy to put out the romance video because it had taken a while to get around to it. And, and I don't like putting stuff off. I recorded the first attempt at audio for that last week. I didn't like it, so I recorded it again, and I ended up getting a more satisfactory version. So we were able to go with that as opposed to the other one. Go ahead and put this thing. Oh. So today was very, 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 very busy, and that's why I was kind of debating if I even wanted to do one of these because a lot of times I just have fatigue from other stuff, and I don't want it to, um, I guess, appear whenever I do one of these or just anything really, because you bad luck, it travels, like it comes around with you. So that was one of the main things I was worried about. But I'm feeling a little bit better at this point, so that's slightly more decent. I'll admit though that I realized a while ago that with this website and with many of the other websites, I have kind of this thing where there's a certain amount of ridiculousness I can't take. Let me say a little sky. And a lot of times, if it gets to a level that's just insane or otherwise completely out of the ballpark for me, I just basically say, screw it, I'm done with you. Like I wash my hands of the site. Um, my thoughts about last night's debate. If I watched, I that might have been actually the first one of these I didn't see the entire thing of because as I mentioned before, I don't have a TV anymore, so I caught it while it was being streamed by ABC, and they had the one clip. Yeah, Sky, that whole housing saga from 2 months ago is still going on to this day. All the ramifications over some damn wood. But I did like the part where Sanders was talking about the donors, and then where you had Steyer trying to get Biden to renounce statements that were made by one of his campaign persons. Oh, and that they confronted Sanders over Turner's comments about Biden betraying the African American voters. But as I was trying to start this off with, and we got to ban Sky now because he ruined my monologue. All of these websites at this point have a limit for how much of their nonsense I can put up with, and usually whenever that limit is reached, it's all right, Sky. But anyways, I throw the site away. I don't use it anymore, or I very much limit my use of it. So when Twitter suspended my account back in June, I had another one that I had made around the same time that I just didn't use. I actually have two accounts on there. And one of them is an old one that I stopped using years ago because just for reasons. Um, the second one, however, I made, I think, 4 years ago, and I never tweeted from it. It was just this account that sits on there. It's from another email I had. So when I go on this account, all I do, because they got me for whatever reason that they never decide to tell me about, is thumb up other people's tweets and follow people and look at new stuff that's being posted. I don't engage that site. I mean, this is a place that literally I think it was 2 days before I got removed. I was tweeting upwards of dozens of times a day, just sharing the link of my different videos on there. But after they did that to me, they tried to make me seem like I was worthless. I I made their site worthless to me. It lost all of its usage at that point. I only have an account to maintain access, but that was the limit to how much ridiculousness I could put up with before I got to bounce. We got to get out of here. The same thing happened with Wikipedia. I was on there from 2011 up until 3 months ago. And one of the users actually contacted me earlier today asking me to give my opinion on one of the pages that he's having some kind of editing thing where he's trying to add content and then somebody else basically gangs up on you with another person. And I'm like, I know that all too familiar. But I said I didn't respond to his email, but I just thought to myself, I agree with this person so much, but I am so sick of that site that I don't even want to log into my account to say anything. I mean, just to put it very short and mildly, one of the users was talking crazy for about a week, and I just said, "This is it. This is enough. I've had my fill." So with I forgot what I just wanted to tell you. Oh, it's all right. You can write it on Discord, and I'll log into that account at some point tonight. I don't know if Sky is still here. I was going to ask him if he saw the romance video because it actually is something that I was going to discuss a little bit about the making of it on here. This guy disappeared. He wanted to get those. He wanted to interview me for one question and run out of here. It's like, I'm done. I'm going to vanish. Oh, well, Sky, I think you might have seen the other one I did where it's like accidental motherhood is the new normal or some kind of where it has the picture of the two chicks with the little line in between. And I was talking about them and making fun of them from a couple of months ago at the very earliest. I have another group project this semester. Yay! Now Sky's trying to turn this all about him. He's trying to take over the stream. But when I did that other romance video, I drew a picture. I put it there because it illustrates the core idea of what I was talking about. And I had some person who was complaining about the picture, like the artistry, right? And I don't like to put up content when it's audio based where there's just like nothing on the screen. You're just supposed to sit there and stare at a blank screen or one image for 20 or 30 minutes. Even if it's something I've drawn, because I don't think anything I can draw can sustain someone's interest for that long. Because a lot of people, like to look at galleries and whatnot. So I came up with this idea that, I have a lot of different footage of myself and I am talking about me. So I might as well put up footage of, just different stuff I've put on here. And when I was doing that, I thought for a moment, maybe someone might mistake this for being old, but they'll quickly notice because it's multiple videos and the second one kicks in around 2 minutes in of just videos being played in mute while I'm speaking over them. So I figured anyone who has an attention span that is worth a damn will be able to figure out that this is a new video just with old footage because the audio is out of sync with the various videos that are being played. It's not like I just keep ripping off my shirt and putting another one on and changing the lights. It's very obvious to tell that. So when I imagine my surprise, when I purposely put it like that, so we're only 2 minutes in, you get another video. To have a user go on there and ask, is this video old? When I saw that comment, I pulled these up and I did this for about maybe 10 or 20 minutes. Not 20 minutes, probably like 10 seconds or 20 seconds. But it was really kind of, those are types of things that remind me of how you can't win with a lot of these different websites because when I draw a picture out and I stick it on there, the art gets criticized. When I put footage, so you can have some visual different thing to look at while I'm speaking, then it's a question of is this something from the past? So because I have an email that lets me know when people subscribe, I type this person's name in, and I find out they have been subscribed to me since February of last year. Now they have been subscribed since February of last year. We're going to repeat that. Would Would you like to know how many streams or videos they have commented on since February of last year in this 12-month period? It's not a full year. They did it at some point, like maybe midway through February of last year. Two times they have commented, both in the last 2 months, and they've never shown up at a single stream. And I was pointing out yesterday when I was talking to someone. Um, Ruben asked, "Is your video about the?" It depends. Is if it's the documentary? No, that was literally recorded and then just put straight on here. So that was about a month or two ago. But the one from yesterday is brand new. I recorded that last week. I just didn't edit it for a couple of days because I was doing other stuff. But I was pointing out how it seems like there's a pattern where if someone writes something ridiculous on here, it's usually an individual who has very little actual engagement with the channel. Um, I did a stream one time where I was talking about, and this is back in April of the year before last, how you have a lot of chicks who get people to kill each other over a woman, and how they'll have a woman who will manipulate men into doing various violent things. And I said, it's their fault as well because she can't force you to do it. But I gave specific examples. I talked about how Emmett Till was because I talked about um, another example where it was I forgot the guy's name, but the woman orchestrated a bunch of people to go kill this person. And when I'm talking about this stuff, I'm giving these examples to illustrate my point. I have this bimbo come on here and she says, "I am a fan of your videos, but you keep talking about women. How is this going to help you?" And I've never seen this person before. I haven't seen them since. I did a video, and I think Megumi remembers this one. It was about maybe 2 months ago, like right before the stupid housing saga happened, where there was a. I know it's late over there, Megumi. We're all familiar with the different time zone. You want to remind us again, because you think we all have short memories and Alzheimer's and the rest of the diseases that would afflict our ability to recall things. But I recorded a video and it was about the looseness of a lot of modern people, like not just chicks, but just people screwing left and right and doing all kind of stuff that's really reckless. And I had a person leave this novel. I mean, this comment was about 5 or 6 sentences long, where they tried to argue against the point I made, and they were subscribed to me. I went and looked at their channel; they had me as one of their subscriptions. Never saw them before, never saw them since. But it's just a repeated pattern where people you've never seen before will like come on here and then say something stupid and then it's supposed to matter when they've made themselves not matter by not being involved regularly with any of the stuff you put up. When we were at the motel, I did a stream and there was a guy who said, "There's beeping in the background," as if I'm supposed to physically remove myself from wherever I am and go down the street and try to find the person who has the beeping noise wherever they are and grab them by the neck and demand that they turn it off so that this one person can be satisfied. But again, that was another person who I'd never seen before, haven't seen since. Oh, okay. Well, Ruben, I didn't know that you were joking when you left that. Yeah, that person is about to get yanked off of here because I'm not in the mood anymore. I told you people make themselves irrelevant by the things that they do. This person could have had a whole year where they could have commented or watched my stuff. They did neither of those things. So they're on their last leg. I do like to believe that people are intelligent and that wow, that actually almost has 100. I'm so shocked. But that comment was just so dumb and like, I mean, people need brains. Like, this is why I try to not ever leave comments about someone's video unless I watch the whole thing, because I've ran into circumstances where I'll watch something and kind of get a little reactionary, but I still want to hear the entire thing out before saying whatever. And it's like you don't even have the attention span to watch this damn thing for more than 2 minutes and see that the piece of footage switches. And I think it's ironic that in the video I was like, "Oh, I have foresight and I'm able to think about things in advance or whatever, or try to plot something out." Or, and then in response to that, you have someone who literally can't even watch more than 2 minutes of the video before asking something like, "Is this video old?" Like in the video, I make reference to the Kobe plane crash. That's a relatively recent thing. But if he had actually listened to it instead of trying to type something as quickly as he could, then he would have been able to know that. Backstreet Girls, Goku dolls, anime is the greatest form of media with trans representation of all time. Backstreet Girls. I've heard of Backstreet Boys, but not their female equivalent. Yeah, Megumi, being on here sometimes can get really annoying. But I will continue to say YouTube is the least obnoxious of any of these social media sites. Like I'll take here. You could say you can either or only have YouTube, or you could have Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Skype, all these other places, and I would pick YouTube over all of them. The only other site that I might get a little worried about still having access to is Wikipedia, and that's only because you can look at the works cited page and use that to learn something. But other than that, I could just we could I could have a computer where the only things it could do is Google Docs, and like go on news websites and YouTube, and I'd be set. So it would just be YouTube, The Hill, and Google, and that's my internet. Oh yeah, well you still support Assad, who is a brutal dictator? Yeah, me and Tulsi are just we're trying to after this election is over, we're gonna go to Syria and just hang out with Assad with the rest of the Syrian apologists. I told you that that's one of that smear is so funny because that's how you know these journalists and the rest of the people doing that don't even know any real people. Like no regular person cares about Assad, much less even knows who he is. Actually, I made a mistake. I should have said no Americans barely know who he is, much less care about ousting him or whatever. Yeah, this was a pretty embarrassing little scandal. I was so happy to finally done that video because I just like every time I edit stuff now, there's like this thing where if I write a script out or record the audio, a lot of times it can get kind of hampered by just not wanting to open up the system to actually edit it. So to just bulldoze through it on Friday was really nice. The Syrian intervention crowd are hysteric about Syria. Yeah, they're not exactly too sane either. I mean, they're the same people as the Venezuela ones, where they want you to feel horrible because you don't support a foreign government telling someone who their leader is. Maduro is no longer the leader; it's Guaido, even though you guys didn't vote for Guaido, and we're just saying he is. Told you if someone did to the U.S. what they're doing to Venezuela, we would be calling them the bringer of World War III. Because we're Americans, we get away with it. That's a They tried to Venezuela, Iowa. Yeah, Buddha Trash won the caucus even though he got the second amount of votes. Megumi, I know you're not into politics, but explain to me how you get less votes and you're the winner. Mm. Yeah, I apologize for the technical difficulties. I know Ruben's pissed off. He's been waiting for that Giuliani documentary, for the Corbyn documentary, for the John Kerry documentary. We're gonna have just a whole list. That'd be funny if Ruben makes a video and it's called the documentaries that never came. At least I'll say this: it's very likely that at some point next week we'll get the employment one, because I'm going to show all those different places I applied to and how they are just awful, man. I mean, Magumi, when you see some of these like applications on top of each other, you'll just you will think I'm like I must be purposely cutting out where they're like, hey, would you like to meet today to discuss the? Oh, it's so bad, man. Just the number of them is what you'll be most shocked by. I mean, I'm just going to make the comparison of how it's pretty similar to the chick thing, where um, I don't feel entitled to a job that I want or whatever. But if someone applies to 30 or 40 places and they still don't hear anything back from any of them, or if they do, it's an interview where they smile up in your face and then call you over the phone and say, "You thought you're going to get hired? Guess again." There's a problem with that kind of system where it's just the number of times you attempt something, there needs to be a payoff. Otherwise there's no point in continuing to do it. But I do make the distinction that the chick thing is an optional thing, at least for me anyway, because you don't need one to survive. But with the employment thing, these people are literally playing with your life, with your lives, by you know dragging out the process of just saying no. So we'll be putting up. The only thing I'm going to cut off is which store number the place is, because I don't want to encourage like someone trying to mess with them over this, which I don't think anyone would. But again, just to be on the safe side, told you I'm tired of getting blamed for what somebody else does. It's really annoying. Megumi, you will be shocked by just like it seems as if there's two schools of thought where either something isn't going to happen or it's undoubtedly going to happen no matter what. And I'm just like really tired of having people try to, tell me that, oh, just keep doing this and it'll happen. Like when I was on that voice actor website, I thought there was no way in hell you could have, let's say, a role that you wanted some, broad to do, and that you couldn't find someone on this site of thousands of people who would be willing to do it. But I was wrong, and that's why I just said, all right, I'll do it my damn self. I'm not gonna sit here and wait for these clowns to make up their damn mind. Yeah, when you just get to a point where you don't care, that's usually. I mean, like with the VA thing, I can still do the voice even if I don't think it sounds as good as the other person. But with the employment thing, I can't hire myself. With the chick thing, I can't. Like I even made that point in the video. I can't be like Baby from GT and jump in their skin and make them go on a date. I just keep picturing like how Baby would look in like a live action movie where he's just jumping in people's skin. We're gonna have our own version of the Baby saga if that happens. Except instead of some little gremlin trying to rule the world because he's mad that the his race was eradicated by some aliens that have been dead for over 30 years. It's gonna be some dude trying to get a date, possessing all these people. But then people who are looking in will call you bitter or negative. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's an earned position is all I just see it as. Like if every time I went out and approached and there weren't more than maybe 8 or 9 new chicks I spoke to without two of them saying yes, I'd be a lot more confident about this actually turning out differently. It's the same thing with the applications. If I had filed maybe 7 or 8 of them, and then I heard back from the people who were sitting over here supposedly hiring people, then I would think, "Oh, you don't have to do that much to get to find different forms of employment." Like it's because I've had the experience of repeatedly attempting something, and the other person just like sticking their middle finger up in your face, over and over in the dozens. I just, all right, this is screwed up. So if it doesn't change, I'm not surprised. Not saying it never could change, but if the last 9 years or 8 years of broads have all been the same except for a gold digger, and what what uh what right do you have to believe it's going to be any different? What right do you have to believe it's going to you're going to meet someone who either is not a gold digger or is trying to play with you, like the Dear John letter writer. I think you're so handsome and I think you're so funny and intelligent, but I'm just not interested in you. Hey, Envoy, did you see the new romance video? Oh, he didn't get his "Let me say hello to Envoy." That's my catchphrase whenever he shows up on a stream. I'm so excited to see what he says. I haven't been swamped, man. Today was arguably one of the worst. Jesus Christ. I mean, I was tired today too because from 10 to 4, I was just driving around over and over. Like we went to another city, went to the gas station, went to the DMV. It was very taxing. Oh, did you catch up any further? I think you said you were at episode 10 or 20 or something. I'm actually really close with finishing 37, but I got to wait for this damn voice actor to record, so that could be another 5 months. It brightens your day. Trying to butter me up. Well, I would argue that the plot's been pretty seasonal. Like usually toward the end of like with the end of season 2, for example, the last maybe 5 or 6 episodes of season 2, you get the plot for season 3. So, but you still haven't told me which one you were on, so I'm waiting with bated breath, sitting here all bewildered, trying to figure out what number he's gonna randomly throw at me. Oh, at least you're almost done with season 2. But yeah, I don't. 37 is almost done, so I guess be excited for that. I don't know. It is going to be the longest episode. It's going to be around 30 minutes long, so half an hour. And then the season 3 finale, which will come out after Trump's second term is over, with the damn face these VAs are recording lines. Um, what do you call it? Is going to probably be. I'm setting for it to be an hour long. So just a little spoiler warning. Not really. It doesn't tell you much about what's going to happen, but it's just an end game goal for what I intend. Yeah, man. I actually had was tempted to do a video called "Top 10 Times VAs Have Let Justin Down" or something. And I was gonna just put up like all the screenshots of the stuff they've written me, and recount um, a lot of the past transgressions. And I would start it off by saying there are a couple who've been very great. I have two of them who have the season three rather ends at episode 60. So I've had two of them who've recorded everything, and they recorded a while back. They would do it on like a weekly or bi-weekly basis, and I was like, damn. But for every one or two people you get there like that, you get five or six. You just have to hound. I had one of them actually who said at the start of December, I can record next week. It has now been 2 months. They didn't do anything. I had one of them who I asked at the start of November, can you do these lines for me? They said yes. I didn't get those lines until after hounding them uh, in January. So 2 whole months went by. Yeah, Megumi, I've been putting up with a lot of the antics of these people for literally years at this point. 4 years, man, of just. I mean, like, and Megumi, the thing that sucks is I'm always kind of worried about how it looks to critique people who are doing something for free. But it's like, if I were to pay them, it would just be 10 times worse because like it, and I made this point to one of them. I said, if I pay you, I'm not, you're not going to be able to do this months without recording crap. I'm going to give you it up front. And I'm going to say, you have 2, 3 weeks to record the rest of the season or, screw you. So, the coins are, and I guess what I often try to explain to people is that because I'm not a douchebag, I have empathy. I'm probably at my most compassionate when it comes to people who are working on this. That's why a lot of times I give people weeks or months to do stuff because I understand that they have obligations outside of my project. But if they refuse to do anything month after month or don't send anything month after that, that's when I start going, hey, what the hell? Like the one that got a script in March and didn't record it until June after I was like, you're basically screwing me here. Like that's what I try to explain to people that it just feels like you're really for as being as empathetic as I try to be with this, you get this weird kind of like blowback. So they honestly just don't really care. So of course they'll say whatever they think you'd want to hear. No genuine meaning behind it. That's why I said the employers, the VAs, the chicks, they're all connected by the same thread of a lack of empathy, a lack of concern for whoever's trying to do something with them. And I even, stated before, I do to a small extent understand why, like a chick would be as picky as she is. Not that I think it makes sense, but I do understand where on a basic surface level, you'd want to make sure whoever you're dating or going out with or whatever is some person you really like. Um, Again, even in thinking that they're overly picky. But with the VA thing, it's like all they have to do is read a piece of paper. And Envoy, you even know this. You've seen the credits. I voice like at least three characters every episode. So I do usually more lines than anybody else. So it's not like I don't know what it's like to record stuff. I recorded all my lines about maybe 3 months ago or 4 months ago, whenever I wrote 60. It's just been me sitting here waiting on some of these hacks to. Yeah, you can tell the different voices I make for it. So, well, I thank you kindly. I really appreciate you liking my diversity of voices. But my point in mentioning that is to say that because I have had the same duty that they do of recording lines, it becomes a lot harder for me to just kind of put up and have empathy when month after month you're just not doing anything. So it's a really when I can finish one of them, it feels really good. But those moments are far few and in between. The rest of the time, it's usually me having to try and negotiate or get the person to answer an email, and that's when it really gets to where I want to fire somebody because if you can't even respond to an inquiry after a week or two or three, I mean, if like I can't even I don't even know what the hell you're doing if you don't say anything. Yeah, they're a really complicated lot. I wish I was Frank Welker. I wish I could voice everybody. I'd have like an hour long recording. Someone did say I should get one of those voice changer things. Like, yeah, but I don't. Like my thing is, I wanted to give people a chance to see if they actually are decent or willing to go through with something. And if I just shut the door and don't even give anyone, any attempt to change my mind or actually record the stuff as they claim they will, I don't like that because it feels as if I'm basically wasting an opportunity for someone else to be impressive in that capacity and just kind of saying screw them for the sake of making it more convenient for myself. Yeah, Envoy. I've really been with the editing for that. I have most of 38 done. I have most of 39 done. I have most of 40 done. 42, 43, 44. I mean, it's a lot. It's coming a lot. What's a good term? There are a lot of episodes that are in various stages of production that you would be surprised by, just given how long it's taken for another one to come out because of this voice actor crap. Oh my god, people are so aggravating. In fact, I'm gonna send that same one an email right now. Now we're on that subject. It'll be called subject flow. You need more time. I can't work. Uh, I can't understand when you're going to do something if you. Uh, oh, that's me sending that little message. Where did Ruben go? He just vanished. Completely disappeared. And Megumi just stopped typing. He said, "I'm gonna sit back and relax." I love that when it happens with the chat where it's like conveniently every single person that's in there just decides to not say anything anymore. They're like we ran out of ideas or things to discuss, and it's cool. I will say that I am kind of annoyed on a personal level about the because like the thing with the documentaries is you got to get the script, then you have to get the clips if there's any of them. Um, you got to figure out what you're going to say over it. It's a really grueling. I don't want to make myself sound like I'm being strained here, but it's a lot harder to do those than just the standard sit in front of the camera and discuss something for a few minutes thing. So that's why it's taking a little bit longer. And then, like I said, I've got the script for two of them, but I have to edit it. So we're gonna have documentaries from my couch, like in 1962. Do you think you would create another series, kind of? Um, I actually tried to do that at least 3 times, and I did make a pilot for another one, but I haven't done the other episodes for it. You gotta understand that with that show, the first time I wrote a script for was when I was in 8th grade. So about 4 years where I even did the first episode. So it was just kind of this thing where once it starts, you just pour yourself into it. But yeah, I wouldn't really think about making anything else unless that one is in a capacity where I feel satisfied. Which again, it could be if these VAs would do their damn lines, but whatever. Voice actors, voice actors. What a lovely crew. Oh, by the way, if I do, I was gonna say if I did a spinoff, uh, how long does it take you to make an episode for the editing and whatnot? I know each episode length is different. LOL. No, season three's been pretty consistent. We've had, I think, the shortest one was like 16 or 17 minutes. Um, Generally speaking, I can do about maybe if I'm like at home and on the computer, I do about maybe 10% of an episode in a day because I can draw about on average 60 images in one day and then color it and edit it usually. So it's really just mainly me waiting on voice actors because a lot of times when they take long, I lose interest in doing that particular episode and go to something else. But if I had all, and I said this before, if I had all the lines, I could from just typically like let's say a 20-minute episode, right? I could make one of those in less than 2 weeks if I had all the lines. Yeah. And Envoy, it used to be because I remember I mentioned I got a different computer in 2018. It used to be the editing part because my iMovie would shut off on me when I was making pretty much all of it after episode 7 and then before 29 or around 29. It's like half of season 1 and then all of season 2. So right as I got over the editing gap or hurdle, that's when the voice actors just got, I mean, just went insane. Oh, yeah, they're a really frustrating group to have to deal with. I'll just say that. And it really sucks when you have two of them who record the whole thing and you can't even. I mean, you don't even get to put the stuff out. Oh, that's annoying. My computer used to do that when I was editing or ran game emulators on it, just randomly shut off and all that work is not saved. Well, that's happened a couple of times with this one, but it's way more. What's a good word for it? It's a lot more durable. But yeah, Envoy. If I did make another show, it would definitely be one where it's just maybe 2 or 3 voice actors the whole way through. I'm done with like having 7 or 8 people I have to try to negotiate with. I mean, damn it, you know. Mm. So that would be the guiding philosophy of my of any future cartoon I made. It would definitely have less people on it. Too bad empathy is something many people don't possess, or at least have consideration for the one who has to do multiple, not just multiple voices. I can literally count on my hand how many other people have voiced more than one person. Actually, no, I take that back. Um, no, I don't take that back, but you get the point that every single other person only has to voice one person. I have to voice multiple people, and I get told about how difficult I'm making it on these people for this stuff. Oh yeah, and on voice sometimes they just like. I mean, I didn't even get to mention that one time that this voice actor, I sent them some scripts, and then their response is, "I'm not working on this ever again, but you can still keep my voice from stuff." Bye. So mad because like they don't care about you, man, or anything that you put up. They just, you know, they screw you over and think very little of it. And it's a really aggravating thing to have some kind of ongoing work, and then you have to like keep trying to figure out how you're going to make it work. I mean, I could make an entire probably 2 or 3 hour thing about like all the behind the scenes stuff with this show. It's really crazy. So yeah, my favorite part is when it's just me editing because that's when I'm the least annoyed. Over here negotiating with people. Can you please record this script? It's just insane. And you keep sending them emails. You say, "Hey, please, please, hello, hello, hello," and no. I'm just like I'll say this: if there's no season 4, so if season 3 is the end of it, it's because I just got too tired of VAs. It won't be because I want season 4 to be 40 episodes or anything and look at that and say, oh my God, look how mounting. It's going to be entirely because I just got too tired of VAs. Yeah, boy, they're a complicated group. You got some who are really talented, but they don't use it for anything that will benefit you in any capacity. And like I said, all they have to do is read a piece of paper. That's it. And this is like so damn hard for no reason. Yeah. Like I said, Megumi, I've been a VA in every one of these, and I've always been able to finish. And before I mention this as well, when people need extensions because they're sick or whatever, I always grant it to them. And then you still get stuff like this because a lot of times I'll assume that if someone is, let's say, not wanting to record at that time, they're going to come back and record a bunch of stuff later to kind of make up for you know all the time they could have recorded something. But it usually ends up being one or two, and then you got to wait another 3 or 4 months for them to record one or two. And I'm like, this season 3 is going to take 3 or 4 or 30, like they are artificially inflating the length of how long it takes to make this show. That's not even the main problem, Megumi. It's people saying they will do something by a certain time and not fulfilling their duties. Yeah, when that VA told me I'm going to do this, in December or next week or whatever in December, I believed them, and you saw what I got. That reminds me of that one chick who was like, "When you turn this age, approach me again, and I'm going to say yes." And then I did, and then she was like, "I'm on a date with another." Oh man, like, these bimbos, dude. It's really tough to be a. I don't know. It just feels like modern society, like with respect to like group projects and trying to work with in the regular employment field and attempting to build some kind of deep interaction or relationship with another person, whether it's platonic. It just feels like all of it is designed to screw people over based off of either their personality or if they've got if they're a man. Like it just too much of it seems ridiculous for like no reason other than people just purposely making it that way. Don't use common sense at all. I mean, I'm looking at this right now, and I'm not really seeing too much rationality. I was about to question if that's even a word. They know they can get away with their irrational behavior, so they go ahead with it. Yeah, I don't even want to mention the VA struggle from last year, where basically for about maybe 5 or 6 months, I was looking for a voice actor for this role, and I was so angry because it was like I just kept talking to more and more VAs, and they would keep saying they're not in it. And I think I mentioned before there was one of them where for like half a week she just strung me along. Uh, oh, what does it look like? Have you done any of it before? What's the story? What will the role be like? What's the character's personality? And I answer all these questions just for them to say, "I'm not interested. I know I wasted your time. Got to go by." And I was just Man, I thought when I talk to a bimbo for days or weeks and I don't get a result, it's only supposed to be for that dating crap. But if it's for like, can you voice someone in the video? That's how you know we've reached the bottom of the barrel. So I ended up biting the bullet, doing it myself, and it took maybe no, they were trying to make conversation. They were just asking a bunch of stupid questions to pad out them saying no. Anyways, I ended up doing it myself. I now have this thing mostly done, and I'm just sitting there like, all it took was one person saying yes, and out of the 20 plus of them, they all said no. Also, Black Pill, enjoy your last stream after that comment you made about me, talking about I'm hideous and I resemble Darth Sidious. And then if I wasn't a human, I'd be a vermin because I sound like Ian McDermott. Yeah, man, he was trying to insult my whole like everybody with Star Wars characters. Yeah, he's on his last leg, and some one of the mods actually, and I think I know who it was. I hope it wasn't Envoy. I pray it wasn't Envoy. Actually banned one of his accounts, and I brought it back just for him to say that to me. What a sick thing. It's too bad. I would like that dude that left that insane comment. Is this the old video? All it took was 2 minutes of just this. It's like, yeah, goodbye. We don't want anyone that confused watching this stuff. I'm not one of those mods who gets their jollies off of doing things like that. I would run that kind of stuff by you. Well, Envoy, as funny as it may seem, some people get their kicks stomping on a dream. Well, Black Pill, this is a Sanders supporting channel. Like, I don't go like, dude, go to Daily Wire. No, I'm not going to say that because they don't have. I don't. Yeah, Shapiro doesn't probably read comments, but I guarantee you, if you found any relatively small Trump supporting channel and you were talking about Orange Ho and all that, they probably would treat you similarly. And besides, we know the real reason why you got banned. You made another comment about my appearance before. And one of my mods was so disgusted by you for saying that they were like, "Yeah, you got to go." Of course, Envoy. I told you, all these conservative commentators that are at the top, though, they're going to stay at the top forever. Wait, what did you say? The politician giving out watermelon and fried. Oh man, okay, yeah, we got to get rid of you. Talking about the food agenda. Yeah, no, Black Pill's talking about he supports the candidate who's trying to give him a meal and some warm milk. And then let's not forget that other evil comment. This is the comment that got Black Pill banned. We're gonna put it on the screen here. Let me go to my thing. Regarding your mother, I'd hate to tell you, she looks a lot like Darth Treya. Like I didn't even know he played Knights of the Old Republic. So he insulted both the way I look and my mother for how she looks. Who's actually never even appeared on here before. That's crazy. Oh, what did Ruben say? I got back. How are you doing today? Now, don't change the subject, Black Pill. You made some horrendous comments about the physical appearances of me and one of my relatives, and I don't appreciate it. That'd be funny if I did a stream with like a relative, be like, "Hey, this is the internet, so be ready for someone to say something nasty about the way you look for no reason." I remember Jimmy was doing a stream about a week ago, and he had a dog that he held at the end of the stream, this little puppy, and there was someone in the like all the people were saying, "Oh," and there was some in the comment section. I was like, "Is that a dog or a rat?" I'm like, "Really? You had to do that? No, you just you couldn't have just thought it. You had to type that out and put it in there. Seriously." Mm. Let me see where it is. No, that's because Black Pill. We read one of your comments where you were. Uh, apparently, you were behind some back alley, and you said, "I can't let anybody know that beneath my exterior, inside I'm just a Cheshire cat." Oh, you saw that too, Ruben? You know, there actually was a guy I used to speak with who was criticizing Doors. Um, yeah, his co-host, Oran, and her as well. And he was like, "That woman that does it with him," was like, "You mean his wife?" He's like, "Oh, I didn't even know." I was like, "You really think he just has some random woman at his house that does this thing?" Oh my god, I love it when people are so much a fan of someone that they don't even know like basic stuff about them. It's really terrific. Problems with politics today is pursuing the identity politics aspect. If they push the social aspects like taxing, education, healthcare, they could really make a change. You know, speaking of making a change, so I've mentioned before wanting to run against my congressperson, member of the House, who is horrible. And I typed their name in on YouTube today, and someone actually wrote, or rather, someone actually did a. There's a guy who's running against her. Oops, shouldn't have said that. I just gave away a little bit of who it was. But there's a guy who's running against this person, and they play clips of them. Clips in some cases I haven't even seen, um, and they're like, "This person wants to impeach Trump, but will they acknowledge the homelessness?" And I thought to myself, that's a really good point, but you don't tell us what you would do to change that. And he's running as a Republican, so he's not going to win anyway because this is a heavily blue district. But that's why I don't like a lot of these ads because they try to they'll make like half a point. Like, yeah, this person should pay more attention to this big pressing issue in their district. But if you were elected, how would you change this? What do you advocate for? And nothing, just empty suit. Mm. Some right wing troll showed a picture of who she assumed AOC's former boyfriend, said that AOC left him for her white boyfriend. It was actually her brother. Yeah, you'll find out a lot of conservatives don't really do well. A lot of Democrats don't do research either. Those low information voters. I mean, Biden got 20,000 votes after stuttering and having his not stuttering, having his brain melt and all that. So the main point we discuss in these streams: the housing issue, education, homelessness, the foreign policy in relation to all the banana wars. I'm glad you've adopted that term as well, Envoy. I know when I first said it, you liked it and decided to steal it from me, so we can ban you for plagiarism. When we're shot to the what is this? We didn't even say anything about immigration in here. Black, I think you must be watching a different stream. Nobody's even talking immigration. Okay, everyone is slamming Collins hard. She voted yes for impeachment, but the never Trump neocon Republicans still hate her. Yeah, Ruben, that's what they do. I guarantee you that if she had voted yes, those Democrats would be like, "That's our girl." After she wasn't our girl for a whole year because of Kavanaugh. I don't see a politician specifically just talking about issues. Yeah, me neither. Envoy, no one is doing that because people are trying to win and get elected. Just like if I was governor of, I don't know, trying to run for governor of this state or senate or whatever, I wouldn't sit there and just talk about one group all the time either. No, we know what you're saying. Yeah, Megumi, I mentioned before the U.S. bombed 7 countries. No, it was used by Jimmy before, and it's actually from a book that came out a long time ago. Let's see, we've got Iraq. Libya, Syria, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Yemen, and Somalia. Wait, what? Told you, Michael is a really there. Someone should do a documentary on his public image. Before that man died, he was getting yeah. I just said the names of them. Before that man died, they were making fun of him and calling him a molester and all that. And then after he dies, oh my God, best artist that ever lived. And I was 11 when that happened, and I couldn't believe it. I thought people had actually just literally deleted the last couple of years out of their memory because it's like you're there to watch them trash this man over and over again. And now that he's deceased, oh, we love him so much. I can't wait for his music to come out. That was pretty insane. Her friends were major figures in that event. Yeah, they were part of the foreign policy group at that time. Let's see what it's. Yeah, I'm not going to read any more of Black Pill's comments after those things he said about me and my parent. I think he's trying to get people to play Knights of the Old Republic too, which is why he made that Treo reference. But to try and compare me to a what could be considered the most notorious Sith Lord ever besides Vader is really, really incredulous. I don't believe a lot of the accusations that are made against that singer. Yeah, neither do I. You play all of them. You play Battlefront 2, Knights of the Old Republic 2, Force Unleashed, every game, Lego Star Wars, all of them. Your favorite one is the Lego one. I just remember that the damn Ruben, stop shaming him for his weight. I mean, that is a. You mean LOL? It is one of the games. Yeah, Ruben's over here trying to be a. We can't all be as slim as you, sir. Oh yeah, Ruben. I like Mike Lee too because he's him and Rand are good on international issues. But he's got the same problem basically, where it's like the same. What's a good word for it? The Republicans who are anti-war that like him and Rand will ignore Collins and Murkowski, who have been very consistently against a lot of these conflicts, at least in recent years, anyway. Basically, I'm saying that because they vote similarly to those two on international issues, but don't, I guess, serve as leading voices for those positions, they get ignored. Legend says, yeah, I don't believe that, Megumi. Get out of here with that conspiracy theory. We should have a conspiracy theory stream. We just come on here and make up a bunch of stuff. Like this couch is floating or something. A Republican that's anti-war that's like spotting a unicorn. There are a couple of them. We mentioned Walter Jones before. So there's a little tight knit group. Envoy actually for the centennial of Hoffa's birth, so 2013, I actually tried to trick a relative of mine into believing that they found him alive and working at McDonald's. He was a cent. What's that? Whatever that word is, a centurion. And I edited the Wikipedia page to like, I didn't save it, but I took a picture of it and I sent it. I was like, oh, they found him to be alive. They find all the missing celebrities at McDonald's. Let's see here. Oh, Ruben, would you like? I know you like Mattis, so would you want a documentary on him? That should be easier to do than, or rather, more, yeah, easier to do than most of the other cabinet members that Trump has. The path of the nation is moving toward a republic-style Star Wars narrative. Blame Disney. Yeah, he was the only member of Trump's cabinet I liked. That was like finding a unicorn. One of the few that didn't buy their position, actually had some principles. It was a sight to behold. They don't care black pill. The point of being a politician 90+% of the time is to keep your job at all costs. So you can raise more money year after year. That's why Pelosi is 100 millionaire. All I know is Trump is definitely getting reelected, and I'm going to be laughing. Well, Envoy just briefly glimpsed into the future, so I should now call all the different presidential campaigns, whether it's Sanders or Biden, be like, yeah, just don't even bother running. Just let's just let Trump, just have a general election with one person. Okay, Ruben says, how well do John Brennan and Mike Pompeo get along? Do they have they even interacted? I don't think so. Oh, Envoy, I think I told you about how they nuked Kyle's Wikipedia page, and I was laughing because it's this one guy that wanted to get rid of it, and all of his supporters came and voted to keep it. So they closed out the article, and then held a vote where it was about maybe 4 or 5 people and got rid of it. Which is really comedic. Who do you think that Trump will choose for a third Supreme Court justice? Since I have no faith in Democrats beating in this election. I don't say that, Ruben. Well, let's go over to his Supreme Court candidates because I forgot most of them. I know it won't be Michael Lee or anybody like that because they've been too much against him. And personally, I think if it's Ginsburg whose seat he ends up having to replace, he's probably going to pick a chick just to keep that what is it, 3 chicks to 5 white dudes and a black guy going. Let's see here. Oh, I gotta go on his enormous article, man. Damn it, Wikipedia. Let's see. Appointments, federal judges, Supreme Court. Oh, there we go. Candidates. Okay, let's see. Where's that list? I didn't even know he had 2 lists from his presidential campaign. Wow. Yeah, it'll be abroad. I'm about 90% sure it'll be a chick. Now, which one of them it is, I don't know. So that's the answer to that. I like how everybody just thinks Trump's going to win no matter what. I still laugh at that video I did where I was agreeing with Obama that Trump wasn't going to win. So now it's the reverse, where him winning is a you can't do anything about it. It's inevitable. And that does actually go with his campaign because we were told that they didn't expect to win and now they're overconfident. Like they think they can just call somebody a socialist 90 times and that's going to seal their victory. I already said if it's Sanders, it's he'll be a lot harder than anybody else to defeat. Alan Dershowitz said billionaire Jane Saban was bragging in this interview about how they were able to block Keith Ellison from getting Perez's position because he was not pro-Israel enough. Um, well, you remember that Obama called the DNC members to vote against him, which was the most ironic thing in the world because if anyone who was here from 2009 to 2 years ago, if you criticized Obama, you were, especially if you were black, you were told that you were being anti your race or whatever. So when he tells the DNC to vote against the black person running with a very good chance, you get the point that he himself is not doing what these others claim that we're supposed to do because of ethnicity and not policy. Okay, well, name calling is what they do in politics now. Very cheap tactic. Yeah, I agree. But we know, I mean, Oliver, there's no code of ethics in politics. That's why you actually, if you look at some of the stuff they say about each other, like, oh, Trump is destroying democracy. No, he's not. He's doing exactly what all the presidents before him have done. Well, not all of them, but the more recent ones, like the multiple war thing has been going on for the last three of them. The anti-environmental stuff has been going on for decades. I mean, it's literally just everything we've seen from the past with more attention because the person who's doing it is famous. Okay, Megumi says, "All right, I should get to sleep. Hope you all take care. See you. All right, have a good night. Hopefully you rest well and get to do all that lovely stuff." You call them very cheap tactic, ethics and politics. I told you the couple of people that I like that have ethics that are not Sanders, they get ignored. Like with Roe, I try to I probably I guarantee you he gets more coverage on this damn channel than on any of the regular channels at all. Um, Here I'm covering them, and they're not is really embarrassing. But like I said, the media knows who they like to pick and choose to pretend is so relevant and important. All right, is anyone have anything else to say? We're hitting the mark of when I want to usually wrap these up because I got some stuff I have to take care of after this. So any further comments, statements, positions, beliefs, views, anything else left to write? Ruben wants a documentary on Mattis. We're gonna queue that up. Uh, anyone have anything left to say? We really should do like a little list of all the members of the House and Senate that should get one of those. Like I'm still looking for stuff on Schiff. I'm just saying, Ruben, I do pay attention to what your requests are. I've very clear about that. And again, you can send me something on Discord if you can't remember at this point. So yeah, it'll be a fairly decent week, at least I hope anyway. It's 'cause we're gonna have this vote in New Hampshire, and they're gonna jack that up probably too. I still can't believe Iowa went down as badly as it did. That someone should have been fired for that because I've never seen, and I'm not even talking about elections in my lifetime. I've never heard of you have to wait day after day after day after day for them to conclude two people did well. Not tell you who the winner was based off the votes, but spin a little narrative. So it's really obnoxious. because that allows Buddha Trash to take his victory lap, and he's been using that to go to New Hampshire, and he's going to get smoked in South Carolina. So that's all fun. I just think it's crazy the Democrats are going to pick a dude that doesn't have any support from one of the largest ethnic groups that turns out for it and expect to win. Like they're so dumb. Like you, whatever. We know they do the things they do. So it's been explained because they actually do profit from losing as well. How high do you think that Klobuchar will pull? She did much better than I thought she would in Iowa. At least speaking to, just being a few points. All right, I have to go.